All right, guys. So my 10th and final pick. I kind of went back and forth. We got TCU at Kansas State. Last time I checked, TCU was favored by -1.5 on the road. But for some strange reason, I think the spread is going to flip by the time by games by an hour before the game. I think it's going to be Kansas State that's favored. That's one thing good about being into this sports betting stuff is that you start to predict stuff. You start to predict line movements before they happen. It's kind of like the stock market, I guess. But TCU, the wrong team is favored here. First of all, I'll leave a link on this one. Because the wrong team is favored here. First of all, Kansas State is a good team. And the only reason it's like Vegas has them as a dog at home is to like blind you. Kansas State has Avery Johnson. They got a really good rushing attack, really good quarterback, really good coach. This is going to be a good game. TCU, they're a good team and stuff like that. But as you hear Tony say in the link, they're like 4-7 on the road or something. And I forget how he put it. I can't remember how he put it, but I know personally that the wrong team is favored here. Okay, Kansas State has a lot more talent. And another reason too why they got Kansas State as a dog is because they're coming off a 1-point loss versus Baylor. They lost 34-35. And so usually you can see stuff like that. A team coming off a loss, they coming home, and Vegas to put more doubt in your head. A team coming off a loss, stuff like that. Sometimes it's like the more teams you have coming off a loss that is an above average football team on your ticket, the better chances you have of winning, those games on your ticket. I had TCU on there for, I write stuff down, guys. I had TCU for a long time. And finally it just came through my head that the home team here was the better team. Actually, I knew Kansas State was the better team. I just had to listen to some solid proof before I made that move. Sometimes I got to trick my mind like that. I know a team is better, but I'll go the other way just to force myself into identifying extra information on something. I do that in life too. I'll just pretend to do something while I'm really thinking about going the other way. Stuff like that. Things I do to trick my mind. Like I told y'all, this is like life to me, y'all. But I feel a lot more confident about the picks that I have this week. I definitely expect to get 6 out of these 10 right, if not 7 or 8 right, or win the whole damn thing, because all my picks on here are legit. So this is my 10th and final pick, y'all. We're going to take Kansas State +1.5 at home, and I just would not be surprised if by Saturday morning Kansas State would actually be the favorite. All right, so check out the link. I'll let y'all later.